Yes, Chair, there was a meeting.
Who was in that meeting? Who led your team in that meeting with the OAG?
My CC was there and my CFO was there.
So if a meeting was held at that very high level, persons whom I believe are technically competent, then we cannot reopen the arguments here. This committee shall be guided by the Office of the Auditor General, and I think that we'll take their response, we'll take their guidance, that whereas 4.5 million was supported, there were doubts or there were concerns around the regularity of that expenditure, in that certain documents that were required were missing. I think that would be the direction of the committee. Let's proceed to the next matter. And irregular advance payments for undelivered goods. Auditor General, what's the current position on that?
This matter was resolved.
If it is resolved, let's move to unsupported expenditure on catering services.
The issue of catering services was also resolved.
Let's move to unconfirmed consumption of fuel, oil, and lubricants. 2.4.
On fuel, oil, and lubricants was also resolved.
And we move to unsupported expenditure on purchase of motor vehicles.
That one was also resolved.
And the resolution was through provision of documentation.
Documentation.
And how much money was queried in total from 2.1 all the way to 2.5?
So this,
So under 2.1, you are querying 4.5 or 6.9? We just want to put a figure because we need to take make a resolution on this non-provision of documentation.
Thank you, Chair. It was 6.9.
6.9 plus under 2.2? 2.02?
2.02.
Under 2.3? 2.7?
2.76.
And 2.4,
60 million to 65,000.
So that's 60 plus 11.6, that's about 71 million. And under 2.5?
Chair, 14.9 million.
14.9 million. So that's probably just about 85 million in total.
Yes, Chair.
About 85 million. Governor, what was the challenge in providing documentation to support the expenditure of 85 million at the time of audit in the year 2021, that now the documents are available in the year 2024?
2021 to 2024. Chair, you know we were dealing with a transition government. In 2021, it was just a year to elections. When you're telling chief officers and CCs provide, some of them are busy with other things. But Chair, I read a riot act when I came back in 2022. Everybody did their work, and the most important thing is that now documents are available and the issues have been resolved.
It is an offense under the Public Audit Act, under the PFM Act, to withhold information without reasonable excuse. Now that documents are being provided to the Senate, how sure are we that the documents are not forgeries?
Well, Chair, I can't be able to help you with that. It is the auditor's responsibility to find out whether they are authentic or not, and I'm sure the auditors cannot, and I've never heard of a situation where they have brought to Senate documents that are not authentic. That would be an offense.
It is not the auditor to bring documents to the Senate, it's the county executive to bring them to the Senate. And Auditor General, are you document examiners? Do you have the capacity to establish whether what has been presented to you is a forgery?
No, Chair.
Yeah, so that casts doubt on the authenticity of the supporting documentation.
Yeah, even
Senator Cherargei.
Cap 8 laws of Kenya on Evidence Act, the issue of examiner of documents is a provision that is provided by evidence that it should be done by a certified document examiner. And I think the OAG under the Constitution does not have such powers. So I don't know what gives confidence to governor to imagine that the OAG has the power to do document examination. Yet you have highlighted in Section 62 of the Public Audit Act that non-provision of document within the timeline on financial audit review and PMF Act is a violation of the law. And in fact, as you take that action, Chair, the governor must give us, I've seen him arguing that CCM and CEOs are time because it's electioneering period. But some of the CEOs' term go beyond the electioneering time when CCM leave office. So my question is, even if there was this disruption of electioneering period, the governor should give us evidence of taking. He said he ordered that people should be compliant. The question is, was there minutes to that effect, maybe in the cabinet, or did he take administrative action against these officers for non-provision of documentation? If governor did not take as the chief executive, as provided by law, then the Section 62 of the Public Audit Act is chairman is clear on who bears the greatest responsibility, and that should be the governor. Because governments exist in perpetuity, it does not exist because you are in office or because so and so is in office. So you should tell us the practical aspect. Is there minutes to show that he gave side directions? Is there administrative action taken against the officers for non-provision of documentation? If he cannot provide, then the full effect of the Public Audit Act should take to course. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Senator Sifuna.
Governor, if you can go with me to your Annex 9, which is the receipts for consumption of fuel, I believe. What is the procedure? What was the procedure then? After how long should, after somebody has fueled the car, after how long are they supposed to present that receipt to the finance department?
Where is it?
Because it cannot be 2 years, Governor. Immediately the receipt is issued there. I can see the receipts you have attached here for Shell Chuka service station. After how long is the driver of this vehicle supposed to present these documents to finance department?
Yeah.
Governor?
I'm waiting for the Annex 9, Chair, because I don't have it.
Okay, and then Chair, you know, I understand you're moving with a bit of speed, but if you look at the query from the auditor, there's a question of internal control measures regarding requisition, approval, and receipt of fuel, which is what I'm trying to get at. A reconciliation of fuel registers, work tickets, and total fuel expenses. So, Governor, when you are responding to this question, you need to not just tell us that you have submitted the receipts, but what are those internal control measures that you have now put in place as well?
Chair, if I am getting it right, Chair, is the Senate committee is concerned why the documents were delivered late, even though the audit queries have been cleared. I have already explained myself that I did insist that documents must be provided on time. But my understanding, Chair, as we sit here, is that audit is a continuous process. Even we sit here, Chair, if you demand for a document that we are able to get today, you would still clear the audit query. That is, I've said, on the issue of delay, we will address it so that documents are not brought late to this committee going forward, or to avail to the auditors. That is my response, Chair.
Did you listen to Senator Sifuna's question?
Yes, he asked about there is a question on, a document on Annex 9, which does not have evidence that it was provided later than the date that is indicated there, which is in 2021. It does not have a receiver date for today or 2 years
I
later.
wanted to know, Governor, how long does it take a driver who has been issued with the receipt such as this? How long should it take for him to present that receipt to the finance department or whoever it is.
It should be immediately we are back from their journey,
That
or
means
before the end of the month.
it means these documents were there at the county offices.
Yes, that
during
is
the
possible.
period.
They were there.
So why would the auditor not have sight of them when they come there? And you cannot tell us the CECs were campaigning, because the office was running at the time.
Well, I have no evidence that the auditors were not given at that particular point in time. Neither do I have the date when they were given.
That is why it's an audit query. It means they didn't see it at the point of audit.
Then I need to go back and deal why it was not provided at that time. Because sometimes it could be an issue of how records are kept. It could be a driver who is on suspension. It could be anything. And for record, Chair, just to verify what I'm saying, today I have different chief officers and CEC for finance because of this. You cannot say I never took any action. I would not sit in here with the same ones.
Chairman, I think where the governor is losing the plot is as a committee, if we don't understand the problem, it is very difficult for us to prescribe solutions. So when we probe, we want to know what the problem was generally at that time. Was it political campaigns? Was it CECs who are not working as required? Is there a policy that you are supposed to bring it by the end of the day? Are your people aware of these policies? You know, so if we don't know where the problem is, we might not necessarily be able to get the proper solution for the problem.
Chair, in addition
Before
to,
you respond, Senator Cherargei.
I've heard Governor say it could be anything. I don't believe in accounts it could be anything. But Governor, the gist of the matter is, can you prove, you have said you have taken action against these officers for non-provision of documentation. It is not word by mouth, because we have to write a report, table a report before the House, make recommendations. Our issues is to ensure efficiency and functionality of devolution across counties. So if we don't get your perspective, it will be hard to convince the House. Mark you, we are going for CRA revenue formula in just a matter of days. So our concern is, if you are taking action against, one of your responses looks like some of these concerns made you change the chief officer and CCM finance. My only concern is, where is the evidence to that effect that administrative action was taken against these officers for non-provision of documentation? Because you have said yourself, if your driver, you have driven all the way from Tharaka to Nairobi, you have fueled your car, you will arrive in Tharaka, let's assume in the evening, your driver will submit, or fleet manager will submit the documentation tomorrow morning, then why is it hard 1 year down the line, in the end of this financial year, hard to provide similar evidence? Yet it was there. It means somebody was sleeping, or there is capacity or non-functionality of the office. So Governor, give us take home to say, in the minutes of cabinet, this is the administrative action I taken against these officers, 1, 2, 3, fleet manager, drivers, what have you, so that we have, and I want to believe, even if there is a driver who is on leave, either sick or annual leave, there is always another driver who is working, and there are ways of internal controls that ensure there is accountability, because that's the perpetuity of the government. Absence of an officer in government office does not mean the service provision is stopped, even if it is an essential service. Considering you and I and all of us were here in COVID, and some of the services in government did not stop simply because some officers were not in the office. So to exit this issue that Senator Sifuna has raised is, what can you convince us that administrative action was taken against so and so, table the evidence, then we can make progress. I thank you, Chair.
Yeah, Governor, you may respond, and if part of that response is in the written documents, you can point us to it.
Chair, allow me to say that the efficiency of employees sometimes varies. It is a responsibility of the head of a department to ensure that mistakes that are done in the previous year are not repeated the following year. I sit at the top of that. And today, yes, we are delaying remittance of documents, but other documents are in. I don't have written evidence to say what I did, Chair, but I have new brooms that sweep cleaner. I know going forward there will be no delay of provision of documents. And if there will be, I'll take full responsibility. And even my employees are hearing it. I will not just let it pass. Because if documents are required after expenditure, they should be provided. So my commitment is that I will avail them. I will not say I can summon my drivers within this meeting. But going forward, I'll ensure the documents are provided on time. Chair.
Honourable members, I think we could exit this by saying that whereas the supporting documents for the expenditure are provided to the